Hey guys, it's Paul here with Gear Test TV, and today I'm going to be showing you how you can use things like tablets and other things like phone mounts with the Mavic Mini controller. So if you watched my unboxing and overview video for the Mavic Mini, one of the things I pointed out is that on the Mavic Mini controller, unlike the Mavic Air controller, there is no full-size USB-A port on the bottom here. And the downside to that is that sometimes I like to use things like this phone mount just because it gets the phone into a little bit more practical viewing angle. It's easier for using things like the collapsible sunshade. For those reasons, sometimes I like to use a phone mount, and then sometimes it's just nice to have a much larger display like a tablet such as the iPad. So the issue is that when you're using things like that, the little phone connection cables that come with the drone are nowhere near long enough. So with the Mavic Air controller, if you wanted to use phone mounts and tablets, you could just plug any phone charging cable into the bottom of the controller and you were good to go. Now, since they left that port off of the Mavic Mini controller, you can't do that, but all is not lost because there is a way to work around that. So I'm just going to go over some of the options that I've found. I'll kind of talk about what the options are, the pros and cons between each one, and you can find the link to all of this stuff in the video description below. So the good news is that even though there's no full-size USB-A port on the bottom of the controller, this port on the side, even though it's a weird square-looking connector, that does accept a micro USB connection. So all that you really need is to be able to connect from your phone connection, whatever that is. For me, it's a Lightning port because I'm using either the iPhone or the iPad. And then you just need it to be micro USB on the other side. So that's what this cable is. I found this on Amazon. It's about a foot long or so, which I believe is roughly 30 centimeters. And this is more what I would use for the phone mount. So what I can do is simply, on the micro USB end, I can just plug that into the port there. I can then pop the phone mount into the bottom of the controller like so. And then I'll pop my phone into the phone mount so I can turn on the controller there. I will turn on the Mavic Mini. And then I need to enter the DJI Fly app. There we go. Now go fly. And now you can see that I am connected to the Mavic Mini the same way that I would be using one of the standard cables, but it's got a little extra length. So I'm going to set that over to the side and just kind of talk about the pros and cons of using a cable like this. The benefit to it is that it's a tiny little cable, it's easy to manage, it's a fixed length. This would be easy to just keep in your drone bag with you and use it whenever you need it. So that's the benefit to it. The downside is that it's a fixed length, so if you run into a situation like, for example, I can only use this with the phone mount. It's not anywhere near long enough to use it with the tablet, so there's a downside there. The other downside is that it's a Lightning cable on one end and micro USB on the other end, and that's it. So I can use this with Apple products, but for example, if you have, say, a USB-C phone and a Lightning tablet, you would have to have two separate adapters. So those are the, kind of pros and cons to using this cable. So that's where the other option comes in, and that is the micro USB to USB-A adapter. This came in a set of 3. They all adapt micro USB to USB-A. It's just that one of them is a straight connector for the micro USB. One is a 90-degree angle to one side. The other one's 90-degree to the other side. It came in a set of 3 and it was like the same price as the ones that were just a single adapter. So I went with this one. But the benefit to this is that you can use any cable that you want to with this. So I could set that to the side here. I can take the micro USB end, plug that into the controller, and now I effectively have a full-size USB-A port, which means that I can use my standard phone charging cable. So this is what I use for connecting the iPad, because I can just plug in the USB-A connection on this end. I can plug in the Lightning port on the other end, and if I open that up to the DJI Fly app, it's going to tell me to go fly. And now you can see we are connected once again with this giant display. So the benefit to using this type of adapter cable here is that, like I said, you can use any phone charging cable that you want to with this now. So if you have different types of connectors, you can just use your standard phone charging cable. You don't have to get multiples of these designated cables. So one other aspect to that is that because this is an adapter, that is one additional connection point between your device and the controller. So I was a little bit worried about that potentially coming loose. But I have to say that these adapters, they're made by Cable Creation. They have a pretty solid lock on there. So I would not be worried at all about that coming loose while you're flying. I think that the micro USB would come out of the controller before that ever happened. So that's really all that I have to say for this video. If you've found this video helpful, then be sure to give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe for more content just like this that will be coming out soon. If you have any questions for me, you can leave it in the comments section below. Otherwise, I will see you guys next time.